Last night, the Marlins ran right into the red-hot Atlanta Braves. With some muscle from John Buck, the Fish built a 3-0 lead. But of course, the Braves came back. Hey, they're the Braves. That's what they do. 3-run ninth, extra innings. On to the bottom of the 10th. Game on the line. Runners on the move, the 3-2. Reyes a little looper into right center field, and it falls! Ball game! Let's go home! Bradley scores, Reyes wins it, and the Marlins knock off the Braves in extra innings.
And tonight in Miami, this 3-game series closes. Come on into Marlins Park. It's a Wednesday night showdown brought to you by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. Josh Johnson gets the ball for the Fish. Chris Medlin, who's been dynamite, goes for the Braves. Michael Bourne and the Braves, they get to look at Jose Reyes, who was the winner last night, as the Marlins say goodbye to Chipper Jones. Hi, everyone. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. We'll get to Chipper Jones in a minute. As good as it felt for the Marlins last night, that was a painful one for the Braves. It dropped them 5.5 back of the Nationals in the East.
You know, they're still trying to catch the Nationals. Obviously, the Braves have a pretty good shot to be that wild card team, which they are. But if they win the division, it comes with perks. I don't know if they will, but a disappointing loss for them last night.
Now, Chipper Jones. In a moment, the Marlins are going to honor Chipper Jones. We've had a chance to see him through the years. This is his last game here in Miami, and he certainly has been one of those guys that you always put on the Marlin killer list.
Well, look at that. First in all those categories, games, hits, home runs, and RBIs. Chipper Jones has been a model of consistency. He's won an MVP. He's won a batting title. He's a career 300 hitter from the right side, a career 300 hitter from the left side. But the way I look at Chipper Jones, in my opinion, he has been to the National League what Derek Jeter has been to the American League. They have represented themselves well. They've represented the game of baseball tremendously.
Marlins will present him with some nice gifts. And then Josh Johnson will go out and try to strike him out. JJ gets the start. He's getting better and better as the year has gone on. He's really built on what was a slow start.
He really has. His 30th start tonight, still an outside chance for JJ to get to 200 innings. Let's see if he uses that curveball a little bit tonight. That always helps.
Chris Medlin. Tommy John surgery. Braves have nursed him back, and he's exploded.
You know, last year, who would have heard too much about Chris Medlin? He's been the Braves' best pitcher, though, since he got his first start of this year on July 31st, and that was against the Marlins right here.
Last start in the big leagues that he lost, 2009. 2009, people. All right. Florida's finest ever? We'll ask that question. Chipper, of course, a Florida native on a big night at Marlins Park.
Showdown, and it started out in center field with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, Chipper Jones was born in DeLand, Florida in 1972. It does bring up the question tonight, is he the greatest player, hitter, ever from the Sunshine State, where he plays his final game tonight here? If the Tampa Bay Rays don't meet them in the World Series and they both get there, this will be it for his hometown state. His numbers certainly are right there. The Hawk! Oh, 279, all those hits for the Hawk, but Chipper Jones, the only 300 hitter. Hard to argue that Steve Carlton, if you look at a player and took one guy, is not the best from the Sunshine State. Miami's own, won 329 games. Gifts galore for Chipper Jones. He's had some nice ones, and he's getting one here from Jeff Conine, a fishing gift. What's been his favorite so far?
I'd be doing an injustice to the rest of the gifts if I named one or two. The ones that stick out. The one that surprised me the most was the surfboard in San Diego Trevor gave me. That was a little unexpected, but I got a frame Stan Musial jersey in St. Louis, which is really cool. But I think more or less just being able to share a hug and a handshake with the guys who have presented them to me. You got a who's who of Hall of Famers and Trevor Hoffman and Craig Biggio, who will be going in soon. Derek Jeter in New York, a bunch of ex-teammates, LaRoche and DeRosa in Washington, and Andrew in New York, and Furcal and Wainwright in St. Louis. So that means a lot to me, because it means that not only have I been a good player, but I've been a decent leader and mentor along the way, and to get the gratitude from those guys means a lot to me.
And Chipper moments ago getting fishing gear from Jose Reyes. He had some kind words. The Marlins honoring Chipper Jones, the man who has done more damage to the Marlins than anybody else. And that is truly a sign of greatness when you're honored by the visiting team and cities. More on Chipper coming up. First, though, it's Medlin J.J. matchup. Rich and Tommy on the call. We'll see you in the postgame.
Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By Papa John's. For $10, get Papa John's Buffalo Chicken Pizza. Or for $2 more, get any large pizza. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. Inside Marlins Park, roof closed, rolling windows closed. A little bit of weather in the area. The Braves will come to the plate with this lineup. Michael Bourne will lead it off. Martin Prado hits second. Jason Hayward's in right. Chipper Jones in the cleanup spot. Freddie Freeman at first. Dan Uggla at second. Brian McCann back behind the plate. Jose Constanza hits a start in left field. And Chris Medlin will hit ninth.
Boy, over the years, Rich, Josh Johnson has had some good games against the Atlanta Braves. A lot of no decisions. 17 career starts against Atlanta. 6-4 with a 2.17 ERA. But JJ's throwing the ball well. He'd love to get a little support to go along with that.
Pinch a penny brings you the first pitch. And that pitch misses outside. Dan Iasonia's calling balls and strikes. Bourne has scuffled in this series. And coming into this series, he had slowed down at the plate as well. He's 0 for 10 in this series. He fouls that pitch off, and it's 1-1.
Hard to believe and hard to imagine a guy with his speed is 2 for his last 30.
Breaking ball, JJ misses out. Last Wednesday in Philly, JJ was matched up against Cliff Lee and was on the losing end of a 3-1 ball game. Bourne rips that one down the right field line, and it's just foul. And when you're going like Bourne's going, you hit a ball on the button like that, it's just foul.
I tell you, that exactly is what went through his mind when he went up the first baseline too.
Since the All-Star break, he's hitting just .215 with his on-base percentage just over 300. The 2-2. Oh, breaking ball missed in. Brantley reaching in to get it. And the count full at 3-2.
Certainly a guy you want to keep off the bases. Bourne with 39 steals.
Fastball at 93 miles an hour. There's still time to get hot if you're Michael Bourne. If he can pull out of it and put some good games together, get a little momentum headed into the postseason. The 3-2. Liner into left center field, and that's going to be a base hit and more. And with Bourne, it might be 3. To the wall goes Hernandez, picks it up. Bourne puts on the brakes, and he'll settle for a double. His 24th double of the season, and the Braves have their speedy center fielder aboard to start the game.
And as you pointed out, Rich, his first hit of the series, he had been 0 for 10. And you're right, if you're a hitter and you know your ball club's going to postseason, if you're a pitcher, it doesn't matter. You'd rather have that little cold spell now than when postseason begins. He thought about 3, but you know what? He's the leadoff man. See a lot of big bats coming up after him.
The first of which is Martin Prado. Now, it may not sound like a big bat, but when he's facing the Marlins, it usually is a big bat. He's over 300, helped by 4 hits in 8 at-bats in this series. Pushes a bunt, very nice one. JJ picks it up, flips to Carlos Lee, and Prado sacrifices Bourne to third. So Prado gets him over. Now Hayward will try to get him in. And here's the Marlins defensively tonight.
We'll check on the defense, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Peterson, Hernandez, Ruggiano, Dobbs and Reyes, Solano and Lee, and Rob Brantley with his 8-game hitting streak behind the plate.
Now Hayward. Marlins infield is back. So if Hayward puts it in play on the ground, that one bounced off of Hayward. It's a foul ball. A chance to give Atlanta a 1-0 lead. Miami jumped out to the lead in last night's ball game. A 1-0 lead most of the way. They stretched it to 3-0 and tried to carry that through the 9th after Nathan Eovaldi went 8 gorgeous innings. 4-hit shutout for Eovaldi in those 8 innings. But you play 9, and the Marlins couldn't get the 3 outs in the 9th. Steve Cishek and Mike Dunn coughing up the lead. Marlins came back to win the ball game in 10. There's Eovaldi and his line from last night. And the guy to his direct right was responsible for most of the offense last night for the Fish, John Buck. 0-2. Hayward drives it, and they'll get the run home. Hernandez in the gap gets there, makes the catch. Tagging and trotting home is Bourne. So the Braves execute a double, a bunt, and a sac fly, and here comes Chipper Jones.
Well, Freddie Gonzalez will be happy about that execution. Got the nice bunt moving Bourne over to third. The nice bunt from Prado, and then a sac fly from Hayward for Jason Hayward, his 75th RBI.
And here is Chipper. At 40, he's had a relatively productive and healthy year. 14 homers, 21 doubles.
Freddie Gonzalez has been really diligent in the way he has used Chipper Jones, giving him time off, making sure he gets enough ABs. And because of that, he's been able to stay relatively healthy this year.
Drives that ball to center and hits it pretty well. Gorky's going back, and at the track, he makes the catch. Braves get a run. Bottom of the first coming up. Jose Reyes on his bobblehead night gets his first swings at Chris Medlin. Marlins come to bat for the first time in the bottom of the first. Ozzie Guillen's lineup looks this way. Brian Peterson leads it off. Gorky's Hernandez in center. Still no Giancarlo Stanton. Marlins hopeful that he plays Friday in New York. Jose Reyes, Carlos Lee, Greg Dobbs, Justin Ruggiano. Rob Brantley moves up to the 7 spot. Donovan Solano slides down to 8, and Josh Johnson hits 9th.
Boy, guy who all of a sudden has gotten a tremendous amount of national attention. Chris Medlin, who had Tommy John surgery. They broke him in easy, broke him in out of the bullpen, and ever since July 31st, he's been in their rotation.
As a starter, the bottom line, 7-0 with an 0.86. That's amazing. And the Braves have won his last 20 starts in the big leagues. The last time the Braves lost a game in which he started was May of 2010. The last time he lost a game that he started was back in 09.
Yeah, May of 09. He lost the game as a starter against the San Francisco Giants.
Now, Medlin wasn't, as you look at the Papa John's Fox tracks, Medlin was not a constant part of the Braves rotation in 09 and 10. That's a fair ball. McCann picks it up and throws out Peterson. He kind of bounced between rotation and bullpen. Defensively, here are the Atlanta Braves tonight.
And as always, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Florida, with Constanza, Bourne, and Hayward. Pretty good speed in the outfield. Here's that guy Prado. He started at short last night. Chipper over at third. Ugla and Freddie Freeman on the right side. Brian McCann making his second consecutive start.
Here's Gorkys Hernandez. 4 hits in the series for Hernandez. He burst out of the gate on Monday with a 3-for-5 night, coming a home run away from the cycle. The changeup from Medlin for a strike.
It's the other thing about Chris Medlin. You will see a lot of strikes.
In the hole, diving stop. Prado's got no chance. In fact, that's almost the same type of ball that Paul Janisch dove for last night late in the game. Janisch separating his left shoulder. And so Prado is back out there at shortstop tonight with a couple of shortstops banged up for the Braves right now.
Yeah, Andrelton Simmons, he's banged up a little bit. So Prado gets the call, even if he comes up and throws and doesn't bobble. He doesn't get Gorkys Hernandez. Boy, on this homestand, Rich, as Jose Reyes gets ready to hit, Reyes has raised his average. This is a lot at this time of year. He's raised his batting average 11 points on this homestand.
Reyes standing in. Be very, very wary of Chris Medlin on the mound. He has a very good move to first base. Very quick feet, and he will pick off runners. Hernandez is running on the pitch. The throw is not in time. Gorkys Hernandez with his 5th stolen base. So Gorkys survived the pickoff throw and then went on the first pitch.
Got a good jump, didn't waste any time, and no chance for Brian McCann.
This is a great look in Foxmo. Reyes with the count 1-0.
There's that good changeup. There will be times that Medlin will throw that changeup 2-3 times in a row.
Reyes last night with the game-winning hit in extra innings. Cracked staff has some incredible numbers on Reyes in extra innings this year.
Yeah, we talked about that the other night.
He's batting .636 in extra innings. That's the best mark in the National League and in Major League Baseball. And you get a minimum 10 plate appearances. It's for extra innings. In extra innings with runners in scoring position, he's 2 for 3.
I think also in extra innings, he's singled, he's hit a couple of triples, he's hit a double, he's hit a home run.
Medlin's 1-2. Up and in, and they count 2-2.
Give me a quick scouting report on Chris Medlin, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. What a boost he's been to their rotation. Tremendous command. And yeah, the changeup's his go-to pitch.
Hernandez running to third, and he has swiped third base. The pitch was in, and it counts 3-2.
Just another great jump, and all base stealers will tell you when they steal third, 99% of the time it's off the pitcher. So Reyes gets one pop here with a 3-2 pitch to bring him in from third, less than 2 out.
It looked like Reyes was sitting on the changeup there. You know, you in the Sky report you said that's the go-to pitch, and Reyes looked like he was expecting the go-to pitch.
Any ground ball, short, second, first. With Hernandez's speed, the Marlins will tie the game.
Another 3-2. And it's fouled out of play. But just scoring a run against Medlin has been an event worth celebrating for teams. That's right around Major League average, right at 50%. There's Hernandez. Infield hit, couple stolen bases. Medlin and Reyes locked up in a 3-2 count. In his last 5 starts, Medlin's given up a whopping 3 earned runs. And he gets Reyes on the go-to pitch, a high changeup.
Usually when that changeup's up in that area, you get a little better look at it. But Medlin was still able to get the strikeout. Wow, he was fooled, and you can tell in that Foxmo look.
It's amazing on Foxmo when you watch it, you see that the bat was out in front of the baseball. From the naked eye, it looks like an average swing and a miss. Carlos Lee. And Medlin misses away. It's 1-0.
You talk to a number of Atlanta people, and they'll tell you that Medlin, they're not making the comparison with Greg Maddux, but they'll tell you he thinks a lot like Maddux on the mound. You know, he wants you to think he's going to throw the fastball and you get the changeup. He wants you to think changeup, he'll go the other way.
Young man out of Southern California, Artesia, California, Santa Ana Junior College. Braves made him a 10th round pick back in '06. Lee fouls that one down the first base line. That's out of play. The count's 2-1. Carlos Lee, a couple hits in this series with an RBI. Gorkys Hernandez, a couple stolen bases after an infield hit. Medlin misses in. Now, we told you getting runs against him is not easy. Hitting homers against him is not easy. He's given up just 4, which is the lowest percentage among starters with 100 innings. And he's walked only 21 this year. Make it 22. Carlos Lee walks. And this should be fun. It's Greg Dobbs against Chris Medlin. Dobbs an 0 for 5 in the series. Dobbs one of those guys that if you throw him a first pitch fastball around the plate, he generally jumps on it. Taps that one out to second. And Ugla flips on over to first in time. And the Marlins leave a couple. It's 1-0 Atlanta. By H.H. Gray. And a gorgeous shot of downtown Miami at sunset. Coventry Healthcare second. The Braves have a run. The Marlins do not. And Josh Johnson goes back to work on Freddie Freeman, Dan Uggla, and Brian McCann in the second inning. The Braves, they're human. They watch the scoreboard. They see that the Washington Nationals have taken the first of the 2 games against the Dodgers, that doubleheader because of a rainout yesterday. Washington 3-1 over the Dodgers in the first. So the Braves are 5.5 back. Freeman lifts the ball foul and out of play. 5.5 back in the East. Freddie Gonzalez's ball club still has a very comfortable lead in the wild card. The 1-2. Though some said last year that the Braves had a comfortable lead in the wild card and it disappeared in a hurry.
Yeah, I don't think Freddie wants to hear any of that talk.
Magic number to clinch a postseason berth is at 7. So the magic number is 7. That at least clinches the second wild card spot. Braves obviously want to get the division crown because then they're into the division series, whereas either one of the wild card spots gets you that 1-game play-in. Just to refresh your memory on magic numbers, to calculate a team's magic number, take the number of games remaining, add 1, subtract the difference. Another foul ball. See, even Freddie Freeman's playing along with this. Subtract the difference in the number of losses between that team and its closest pursuer. That's how you get a magic number. So the Nationals' magic number was reduced by 1 with the win over the Dodgers. If the Nationals win again, it's reduced by another. And if they were to win and the Braves were to lose, they would pick up 3 games in the magic number column.
Yeah, the Nationals got a nice 6 innings from Jordan Zimmerman. Gave up just 1 run. Nats have to face Josh Beckett in the second game of that doubleheader. Beckett against John Lennon.
St. Louis, who occupies that number 2 wild card spot, gets to play Houston again tonight. Freeman hooks it. Solano fires to first. And there's 1 out here in the second. Our Subway surprise is the National League wild card standings. The Braves way out in front of St. Louis. But St. Louis just 2 in front of the Dodgers. That reflects the Dodgers' loss to the Nationals. Milwaukee's the team that's been really hot. They are 3 over. Pittsburgh's been a team that's been trying to hang on to their somewhat magical run so far this year. As Uggla stands in and takes low.
And that last ground ball, Rich, I think when we first saw Carlos Lee, we'll get a look at it maybe after this pitch, at first base, and this is the first year he's played there. See how he starts to go after it? Early in the year, he'd have kept going, and he makes it a tough play. But I think he's starting to feel more comfortable. I talked to him about it before the game, and he said, yeah, he's much more comfortable there now than he was at the beginning of the year.
I think wherever Carlos Lee plays next year, it'll be at first base, and if it's an American League team, first base / DH. Uggla walks, and that's something he has done a lot this year. He's aboard at first with 1 out. Here comes McCann. The next Corona Light Marlins watch party is the next time we're on the air. It's Friday night, the 21st. Dave and Buster's in the Dolphin Mall. We will be in New York. Marlins and Mets. 7:10 start. You can win prizes, meet Billy and the Energy team, take advantage of great food and Corona Light specials throughout the game. Now McCann, and Johnson misses down low.
It's been an interesting, kind of a crazy year for Brian McCann. I mean, he has 20 home runs, but it's been an up and down year. He hit 193 in June. In July, 296 with 9 home runs. Then came back in August and hit a .181 with no home runs. So he would be another, Rich, that they would hope all of a sudden gets into that nice groove for postseason.
No Atlanta Brave in uniform tonight has more at bats against Josh Johnson than Brian McCann. This is his 43rd. And he takes a strike. McCann didn't like the call. You can see him turn to Dan Iasonia. Say, hey, look, I know what a strike is, and I know what a ball is, and that was a ball, and he's right.
And he may have punctuated that statement by saying, let my guy get that pitch, too.
That's a strike. That was actually a better pitch, whether it was over the, yeah, it was right on the black. I mean, barely on the black, but a strike.
You can tell what Josh Johnson's trying to do with Brian McCann.
Uggla's at first. Johnson ready and time called.
How about for Dan Uggla, his 89th walk of the year?
You know, it's amazing. We're talking about number of at-bats against Johnson. McCann has more at-bats than Chipper. Chipper has 34. Check swinging a ball in the dirt. Actually 35 now with his out from the first inning. Uggla's an 0 for 8 against JJ, who's been the king of the no decision against the Braves in his career.
Another thing that JJ gets himself in trouble with once in a while, he's the king of getting that pitch count up high early.
See if Uggla's on the move. He's running, swinging a foul tip. Brantley does not have an opportunity to throw. He was busy trying to handle the foul tip. McCann strikes out. Uggla, though, a stolen base, and he's in scoring position. Last time JJ saw the Braves, he beat them, and it was here in this ballpark on the 23rd of July.
When watching some of those pitches, you're seeing good curveballs, fastballs, sliders. As we said with Nathan Eovaldi last night, it's a tough lineup because it's stocked with left-handed hitters. So that big curveball, that pitch there, is an important pitch for Josh tonight.
We were talking to Ozzie Guillen the other day about the importance of that pitch, not only for a guy like Eovaldi. He mentioned Josh Johnson and the guy that you brought up, AJ Ramos. And that was the conversation that Ozzie had with Ramos, because Ramos started throwing his curveball the other night against the Braves. 1-0 pitch. Up the middle into center field. Constanza gives the Braves a 2-0 lead. And so Atlanta getting hits when they need them. Constanza delivering from the 8 spot.
Well, you concern yourself with Hayward and Jones and Freeman and Dan Uggla, and all of a sudden a pitch up a little bit to Constanza, and he gets himself an RBI single.
Medlin up there tries to bunt. Like Josh Johnson, Medlin, a right-handed pitcher. Actually, he's a little more talented than JJ at the plate. He's a switch hitter.
Switch hitter. He's a pretty good athlete.
Was a shortstop in junior college as well as a pitcher. -2.
But what a franchise this Braves franchise has been. 20 winning seasons out of the last 22. Of course, Freddie Gonzalez in his second year. as manager of the Braves.
Medlin drops the barrel of the bat down and drives it into right field. Ruggiano fires it back into the infield. And the bottom of the order for the Braves with a couple of hits against Josh Johnson. Here comes Bourne with 2 on. All season long, Fox Sports proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports.
Boy, it took Josh Johnson 40 pitches to get through the first 9 hitters.
And now Bourne, who opened the ball game with a double back in the first, stands in. Braves in a very different spot than last year in a lot of ways. Here's the 1-1. That one fouled back. They have a rested bullpen, a fairly fresh rotation, and a lot of momentum headed towards the last couple weeks of the season. With that magic number down into single digits, it seems like they should, at the very least, be one of the wild card teams. But all that guarantees them is 1 game.
And you know what? Anybody that's been in this game for any length of time knows how precarious that can be. 1 game, doesn't matter who you're playing.
The nice thing if you're the Braves and you've already clinched is you can adjust and set up who you want to have start that 1 game. Say you're the Cardinals and you only have a 2-game lead in the 2 spot, and it goes down to the wire and you have to win game, and then suddenly you get to the end of the season and you've got your 3 or 4 starter available.
They may not be able to use a Kyle Loesch. But the Braves will have that 1 game at home, though.
Yes. And if they win that game, then they would start the division series at home. Bourne finally strikes out. A long inning for Josh Johnson. Gives up another run. 2-0 Braves. It's a night where the Marlins have honored Chipper Jones, and Chipper Jones has always hammered the fish, so we figure we make him the captain of the Marlin Killers team. Now, this is the 2012 edition. Yadier Molina has always done it. Howard, Utley, Chipper, and put Rollins at short.
So you have 3 Phillies. You have Chipper, of course. Yadier Molina. I don't know if I would have come up with Molina's name as a guy who's had a pretty good amount of success against the Marlins.
Chipper Jones receiving before the ball game a big bag and a rod and reel of fishing tackle, the stuff that he was given by Jose Reyes and our Jeff Conine, a Sage fly fishing rod, Sage reel with a travel kit, a fly fishing vest with fishing tools and lures, bass fly tying kit, assorted flies.
You know, Rich, the Sage fly fishing rod, that is the Cadillac of fly fishing rods.
There you go. Tackle box kit, a special fly fishing hat with LCD lights for dawn and dusk fishing. So, you know, he could actually take the surfboard that he got from the Padres and Trevor Hoffman, paddle out and drop in a line, and away he goes.
And before he paddles out, he could set up the grill and years worth of brats that he got from the Brewers and have himself a little tailgate cookout.
Ruggiano's up as the Marlins try to get to Medlin. Braves have given Chris Medlin a 2-0 lead. Justin Ruggiano, Rob Brantley, Donovan Solano against the 5'10", 175-pound Chris Medlin. And right down the middle, Ruggiano was looking for something other than a strike of the straight variety.
Seeing for Medlin, that's his forte. Get a guy looking for something else. All right, here's a really good fastball. And it's taken for Cole, strike 3. Medlin has said he'll probably never pitch a no-hitter because he throws too many strikes.
Now, did he say that before his run this year or after his last month and a half in the starting rotation?
I think he said it recently. But his last time out, he didn't throw a no-hitter, but in 7 innings he struck out 13 Nationals. Got a no decision in that game.
You know, the amazing thing about that is he threw only 96 pitches and struck out 13 guys and gave up 5 hits. Normally, when you strike out 13 guys, you're up in the 110s, 120s, because that's a lot of pitches to throw. Brantley up there now. Dropped 3 for 4 in the series. Clobbers one down the right field line. That's fair. And the rookie catcher just keeps hitting and hitting and hitting. He got a promotion up to the 7th spot there. Look at Prado's going, how do you do that?
Well, that's just great to see. 9-game hitting streak. He's hit 4 doubles during the streak. He's hit a home run. He's had great at-bats on the year, 13 walks, 12 strikeouts. And you know what? There were some who didn't think he was ready to come up here. He's ready, trust me.
Now you've got Solano. Already 7 doubles. So 9 straight. And Brantley's at second. Solano and Medlin are about the same size. I know Medlin's listed at 5'10", but I would guess if he and Solano lined up, they'd be about the same height. Donovan takes a breaking ball for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, the thing about Medlin, he didn't really become a starter until his 3rd year as a pro in the minor leagues.
Talked to Freddie Gonzalez before the ballgame about how they brought Medlin back this year. And, of course, Exhibit A is Steven Strasburg, the Nationals plan for him. Freddie had the luxury of already having a rotation in place and a healthy one. Chopper to Chipper, and he throws him out. The one thing that the Braves wanted to have that they didn't have last year, and it cost them, was a bridge, a guy that could give them 3 or 4 innings on short starts and give O'Flaherty, Venters, and Kimbrel a rest. And Medlin was that guy.
Yeah, they kind of tinkered with Christian Martinez, but he was more in a blowout game. They wanted that guy in a close game to do that.
And then once a spot in the rotation opened up, Medlin was the obvious choice. And boy, did he ever take off. Brantley still at second. Here's JJ now. Johnson 5 hits this year. He's 5 for 50. He has driven in a couple runs. And that changeup by Medlin. Marlin hitters not picking that up real well right now. But they're not alone. And he went after another changeup. Johnson strikes out. Marlins leave a runner in scoring position. Braves have a 2-0 lead. Josh Johnson and the Marlins trailing the Braves 2-0 in the top of the third. Jeff Conine busy tonight at home plate with Chipper Jones. Right now he's in the Fox Sports Florida Suite. Niner, what's up?
Well, we got Randy and Fran Jackson here, the winners of the fantasy auction for Fox Sports Florida Suite. So thank you so much for being involved this year, and why was it important for you guys to give back?
Well, it's a pleasure. We've always supported the Community Foundation. They do so much wonderful work in the community, the Marlins Foundation. We were happy to do it. Just very happy to do it.
Ditto.
We got a ditto. I mean, it's going to be pretty good. We got a couple Hall of Famers coming in here to sign a few baseballs. I mean, does it get any better than this?
No, and we have we have some former volunteers. We used to be on the fan club board, and some of the former fan club board members, the old Q crew from the old stadium, and the Power Alley gang from the old stadium. So a lot of good friends, a lot of good times. So
say hello, everybody. There we have it from the Fox Sports Florida Suite here. Thank you very much, Randy and Fran, for your contribution, and enjoy the game.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hey, Niner.
Yes.
Got a question for you, because I was allowed in the suite once this year.
Once?
Yeah. How do you get in there?
Like, they let me in for 2 minutes.
Well, you don't have the badge?
I don't have the badge. One of the things I noticed is that the food and beverage selection has taken a quantum leap forward from last year.
I will attest to that. It has taken a quantum leap. However big that might be, it's very big compared to last year. The food's been fantastic on the suite section. I get to sit up with President David Sampson, so I know firsthand. It's very well.
How much weight have you put on?
We're not going to talk about that right now.
All right, that's good. All right, Niner, thank you.
Thank you.
You see, Rich, Niner has his own swipe key to the suites.
How does that work?
You and I do not.
It's because he's Mr. Marlin.
Yeah, that's right.
We are Mr. Waltz and Mr. Hutton, and that's it. Jason Hayward now. Josh Johnson's not been sharp tonight. That's his second walk. He's given up 3 hits. He's fallen behind. He has thrown a lot of pitches already.
He threw 32 in the last inning alone.
Do you get a sense he's throwing more breaking balls than usual? More curveballs?
He's thrown a lot. I think it's all right. I think that's a good pitch against this predominantly left-handed hitting lineup.
Every night, Cholula Hot Sauce picks a spotlight player. And tonight they have chosen Jason Hayward. Born in New Jersey, but he was raised in suburban Atlanta. His dad played basketball at Dartmouth. He committed to UCLA. Swing and a miss. Of course, Braves drafted him, and it didn't take him long to get to the big leagues. Hayward just turned 23.
Drafted in the same draft as Giancarlo Stanton.
14th overall, 2007. That was a great draft for the Braves. They got Hayward in the first round and Freddie Freeman in the second round.
It's pretty good, and here they are in the lineup. In case you just joined us, Giancarlo hopes to be in the lineup Friday night against the Mets in New York.
It's ironic that you had Hayward committed to go to UCLA and Stanton was headed towards USC. Of course, both signed right out of high school. Prado's at first. The 1-2 is lifted in the air out to center. Corky's Hernandez settles, makes the catch. Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, Rich, you guys mentioned the great fishing gifts that Chipper got from the Marlins. He got some other nice gifts on his tour around Major League Baseball. Final stop, beautiful cowboy hat from the Astros, the mutual jersey from the Cards, surfboard, Braves team banner from the Cubs, and from Milwaukee, a year's supply of brats and a grill.
Wow.
Now that is something I asked Chipper about. What are you going to do with a year's supply of brats? And Mr.
Have a lot
Jones,
of cookouts.
Yeah, a lot, or do you just have one big one? Here's what he had to say.
That's the first thing. I just bought a new house in Atlanta, and the grill is going to be front and center, right off the kitchen, and I got a lot of sauces and a lot of brats coming my way. So
Some kind of like a lottery winner.
I don't know how we're going to handle it, but I can guarantee you that grill's going to be full of them.
So does he get 12 brats a week, or does he get the whole one in one pile up? Like the lottery folks do it. Take the lump sum. I think that's what he's going to do. We'll see. You have to do that with a brat, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's Chipper. He can do whatever. He's going to the Hall of Fame, man. He can call his own shots.
I think a couple other neat gifts I heard he got when the Braves went to Boston. They took off the number 10, the green monster, on their scoreboard and presented that to him. And in Chicago at Wrigley Field, they gave him the Braves flag. That all the teams' flags fly above Wrigley Field. They gave him the Braves flag.
Johnson misses in. Jones hit a fly ball to the warning track in deep center field. 35 career at-bats and 9 hits against Josh Johnson. Did he go? No, he did not go, says C.B. Buckner. There's the 10 from Boston.
He's also gotten a lot of bases from different ballparks.
Runner goes. Jones flips it left field side. Peterson in full flight. Can't get it. Plays it on a hot runner coming to third. And the throw is not in time. And so Chipper Jones bangs one down the line. Martin Prado ends up at third. And the Braves are set up at the corners. And with that hit, now 2,721, he ties Lou Gehrig.
That puts him 58th on the all-time list, and one of the interesting names on that list, 56th, I believe, not too far ahead of Chipper Jones, is Tony Perez. Tony Perez with 2,732 hits.
We told you that every time he came to the plate in this series, the authenticator from Major League Baseball would put into play specially marked balls, and that one has the special markings on it. They'll go authenticate that. This will be an authentic sacrifice fly, as Martin Prado will score. Jones got caught, and that's a double play.
The one does count.
So the Marlins get 2. The Braves cash in a run. Humble even a future Hall of Famer on a night where he's honored. I don't know if he just lost track of the ball or lost track of the outs.
Prado goes back to tag up. He scores. Petey comes in with the throw to second because there's no play at the plate. My fault.
It's not often you get an RBI on a double play.
The one thing, Rich, about this game, it's a game of total concentration. And anytime a guy thinks he can just waver and forget about it a little time, Chipper knows that as well as anybody. Something happens. And that's why, okay, it's not the physical game that the NHL, the NBA, in the NFL. It's not the physical game, but it's concentrating for 162 games during a 6-month season.
Here's Brian Peterson. The run counts because the run scored before that out was recorded. That not a traditional force out, more a tag play out. And you can see Chipper still beating himself up over that. Had Prado trotted in from third and the out been recorded before he crossed the plate, then the run would not have counted, but Prado was hustling all the way. As it is, the Braves have 3 runs on 4 hits against Josh Johnson. And Chris Medlin is doing what Chris Medlin has done ever since he was put into the starting rotation.
I think the incredible number, you and I touched on it earlier, he has 20 starts, his last 20 starts. This goes back a couple of years. The Braves have gone 20-0 in those starts.
Peterson's roller is up the middle. Ugla gathers it in and throws him out. World Baseball Classic is underway right now at Roger Dean Stadium. Tickets are on sale at worldbaseballclassic.com. Of course, that's the qualifier to get into the World Baseball Classic, the second round of which will be played here at Marlins Park in March of 2013. We've got to get a score from Roger Dean Stadium. See how that first game is going.
That was the Israeli team is
against South Africa?
We'll check with our. We have crack staffers involved in this. I'll check with mine. You check with your. I'll check with my people. You check with your people.
Hope they have good weather up there. Here, the roof was open during batting practice, but in the middle of Braves BP, they had to close it. There was some weather moving in.
By the way, there was a great story today in the Palm Beach Post about Adam Greenberg, who's playing for the Israeli team.
And we talked about the campaign to get him one at bat in the big leagues. He, of course, was hit in the head as a Cub against the Marlins in 2005. Hernandez is thrown out. Prado's a great defender wherever you put him. Second, short, third, left.
One of the interesting little caveats in that story, he was hit by Valerio De Los Santos. And a couple of years ago, he faced De Los Santos in a minor league game. And he got a base hit. So an interesting moment a few years ago for Adam Greenberg.
1-0 Israel, top of the 4th. Remember, we last night had the South African coach on. Great accent, by the way.
Oh, that was terrific.
And he said that his ball club would be underdogs facing Israel. Israel has a lot of minor league players on their team. No major leaguer can play in the qualifiers, at least these qualifiers, because the major league season is still going on. Fastball misses out. But if you're a minor league player, you are welcome aboard. Don't know too many South Africans playing in the minor leagues, but many of Israeli descent able to play. Pitch in the dirt, and it's 2-1. Here's a 2-1. And a fly ball out to left. Constanza's there, and Medlin just keeps mowing down Marlins. 1-2-3 in the third. Josh Johnson. All right, Marlin Killers, 2012 edition. Outfielders, Matt Diaz, a given. Andre Ethier, first all-time with a .397 average, and Matt Holliday always crushes the Fish. An OPS of well over 1,000. Figured we'd update the list with Chipper Jones in the house.
Where does Ty Wigginton fall? What category? Do we have like an extra man utility?
He was the one of the first off the bench of last year's team, the 2011. I don't know that we've named bench players. We do have a manager, though, named. And a bullpen and some starters. Uggla's up there. The count's 1-2. And that's on the outside corner. Josh Johnson gets a strikeout to open up the fourth. And we open up with some AT&T trivia. We flip the phone in the fourth inning. Enter the phone. Now let's flip it. Chipper Jones was the first overall pick in 1990. Who are the 3 future Marlins also taken in that round? 3 future Marlins in the 90 draft. Oh no, in that round of the 90 draft. So it's first round selections.
First round picks. So they were selected by other teams. But they someday became Marlins. Were they all selected, the other 3 all selected by other teams, or was one selected by the Marlins?
Well, the Marlins in 90 weren't selecting yet, right?
Oh, that's right, 1990. I didn't read. I didn't look at the date.
To center, and Hernandez is there, and McCann is out number 2. Were these players future All-Stars?
Ooh. Oh, so yes and no.
Yes and no.
So maybe a couple of them. A couple of them were All-Stars.
All right, so 2 of them were All-Stars. That went foul to the plate. Now we've been told just 1 was an All-Star. As a Marlin, were they an All-Star as a Marlin?
I feel like we're on 20 questions.
Gary Sheffield. That's a cold sound. 0-2. Check swing, didn't go.
1990. Didn't go.
Al Leiter. Little tapper, Dobbs bare hands, and Constanza can really run, and he beats it out.
I'm sure Constanza had a lot of base hits just like that, leading the International League in hitting this year, which he did. I'm sure he put together a lot of infield hits.
Well, we saw last year firsthand what kind of hitter he was. And here's Medlin now. How about Kevin Brown?
You're going through pitchers. What about Alex Fernandez?
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
We're going through that 97 rotation.
Yeah.
Of course, Alex, a first-round pick of the White Sox.
Johnson misses down low to Medlin, and it's 1-0. Josh Johnson has already thrown 74 pitches, and he has 2 outs.
Well, he had talked about trying to get to 200 innings, and in order for him to do that, he'll have 2 more starts after tonight. He needed to put together 6+, maybe even a 7-inning game to do that. And the way things are going here with the pitch count, I don't know if that's going to happen tonight.
He's 3-0 on Medlin. Constanza with an infield hit with 2 outs. Braves have single runs in each of their half innings here. And a strike. 3-1.
So you got the score from your source,
but you got the details.
That's right. Nate Freeman with a first inning home run for the Israel team.
Medlin walks. Medlin has singled and has walked against Josh Johnson. And here comes Michael Bourne.
Well, the bottom 2 hitters have been on base all 4 times. Costanza with 2 hits, Medlin with a hit and a walk.
Bourne's double was his 24th. You got Braves at first and second. We're in New York on Friday night. And JJ just can't throw strikes right now. He walked the pitcher. He's 2-0 on Bourne.
For a pitcher and a guy who has been throwing so well, this has to be very frustrating to not be able to throw pitches where you want.
Team Canada is favored in the qualifier, which is starting in Germany. Their manager is Ernie Witt.
One of the things that Josh has done so well in his Marlins career is beat the National League East. Josh Johnson against the National League East, Atlanta, Philadelphia, New York, and Washington, is 29-13.
Two, and it missed. So the count's full. There are 2 outs. Costanza from second, Medlin from first. They'll be on the move, and Bourne steps out. Germany, Canada, the Czech Republic, and Great Britain in that qualifier in Germany. Regensburg, Germany. Bouncer to the left of Solano, gathers it in, fires to first in time to get the speedy Bourne. Braves leave a couple. Bottom of the 4th in Miami, 3-0 Atlanta. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota, bring you tonight's Wednesday night showdown. By Burger King, come play family food, where every game piece has a prize. And by Looper, in theaters September 28th. In Miami tonight, all smiles in the seats, but not so much on the field, because Chris Medlin has been shutting out the Marlins. The Braves have scratched out 3 runs against a struggling Josh Johnson. Carlos Lee, Greg Dobbs, and Justin Ruggiano come to the plate against Medlin.
By the way, that looked like one of our in-game scoreboard entertainment operators, Katrina, celebrating her birthday tonight. So happy birthday, Katrina.
I did not see that in the notes, the game notes.
It was not.
That's why you're the best.
I saw birthday cake all around. You know, I could sniff out birthday cake.
Marlins would like to sniff out a run. They've had a couple runners on in the first, a 1-out double in the second. Lee turns on one. Constanza, just shy of the track, makes the catch. Greg Dobbs now. Told you the Nationals beat the Dodgers in the first game of the doubleheader, 3-1. The Orioles have been out on the West Coast with just some thrilling ball games. Taylor Teagarden, it seems like every time he has a hit, it's a game winner or a big hit. He had the game winner last night as the Orioles won in 18 innings. The Orioles today announced that they are bringing up their top pitching prospect, Dylan Bundy, and putting him right in the middle of the pennant race. Sports Illustrated had a nice article about Bundy. Dobbs knocks one into right field. And Greg Dobbs has a 1-out single. Ruggiano comes up. Bundy was the 4th overall pick in last year's draft, the 2011 draft. He was 9-3 with a 2.08 ERA and 3 minor league affiliates, finishing the year with 3 starts at Double-A.
It's amazing, and it's true for a lot of teams that all of a sudden get on great runs. They get production from a little bit of everywhere. I mean, we've been talking about Nate McLouth, who couldn't find a home here in Atlanta, struggled after one really good year in Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden he's surfaced with the Orioles and seems to get 2 or 3 hits a night.
What about Manny Machado?
Manny Machado has made some unbelievable defensive plays.
And it had some big hits as well. Ruggiano's up.
That's really when they took off, when they brought the youngster, the 20-year-old up.
Ruggiano was called out on strikes in the second.
And that is exactly why, and you talked about Dylan Bundy, the youngster they're bringing up. If a kid's going to play in the big leagues, might have time to finish this story. But if a kid's going to play in the big leagues, he's going to be ready. Get him up here. You'll find out one way or the other, and he'll learn to adjust. And if he's going to be the player you think he is, he'll make his mark. He'll make the adjustments. He'll struggle at times. And I think we've seen a little bit of that with Rob Brantley, who hasn't struggled a whole lot.
Here is Brantley. His double in the second, his 7th of the season, extended his hit streak to 9 games.
And the young player you bring up and he really struggles and mentally can't handle it, I'm not so sure he's going to be the player you think he is anyway.
Longest hit streaks in the National League. Darwin Barney's out in front. Brantley lines that one to left. Constanza going back, reaches up, And he makes the catch. That one almost got over his head. Another well-struck ball by Rob Brantley. But another scoreless inning. Tuesday. AT&T Trivia answer. 1990, 3 future Marlins were also taken in that first round. Chipper was the first overall pick. Tommy nailed one of them. Alex Fernandez.
One. Carl Everett. Not familiar with Kurt Miller. So, hey, 1 out of 3 is a .333 batting average.
Josh Johnson will try to get some quick outs because he's going to need some if he's going to stay in this game further than the 5th or the 6th inning. Martin Prado stands in, and JJ's fastball misses in. Johnson at 86 pitches as he starts this, the 5th inning. And I think the first 2 pitches of this inning are a perfect example of what's been off with Johnson tonight. Fastball command.
And because he hasn't had the command of the fastball, we've seen him use lots of curveballs. It's almost like he's gone overboard with the curveball, a whole lot of them, but I think it's because he doesn't have the command of the fastball. Because the velocity's pretty good. Velocity's been around 93, 94.
Prado a sack bunt, walked and scored. And again, Johnson missing with the fastball. It's 3-2. Off day tomorrow, Friday night in New York, weekend series in New York, and then a 3-gamer in Atlanta. Prado doesn't like the call, and Iasonia rings him up. Prado was headed down to first. Yeah, it caught a little bit of the black.
Just nicked it.
And a little bit of the letters.
JJ, by the way, has had 8 3-ball counts. Thus the high pitch count.
Hayward takes outside. In the last couple weeks of the season, there are a lot of people in baseball that'll be rooting for Andrew McCutchen to get some hits because they don't want to see Melky Cabrera walk away with a batting title. Right now, McCutchen is 7 points behind him. Starting play at .339, Melky Cabrera at .346. Buster Posey a distant third at .333.
Talking about base hits, guys putting together solid years. I noticed in the second game of the doubleheader the Yankees have against Toronto, Derek Jeter has a base hit that gives him 200. Jeter with 200. Miguel Cabrera, he's just doing everything. 189, so he'll probably reach that 200 mark.
And when fouled at the plate, Cabrera is having such a great year. That will make the American League MVP voting quite interesting. Miggy is 2 homers away from leading in the top 3 categories of the Triple Crown. He has the top batting average, 333. He's driven in more runs than anybody, 129. His 40 homers are behind Josh Hamilton and Edwin Encarnacion. And Cabrera plays in a much tougher park to hit home runs.
Yes, he does.
Than Hamilton and Encarnacion. Hayward pulls a ground ball out towards second. Solano makes the play. We check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, Chipper Jones has hit 40 home runs against the Marlins, #1 all-time for an opponent. The one he remembers most, June 5th, 2008, Turner Field against Ricky Nolasco. Took that little breaking ball and took it out of Turner Field. Now, why would a homer in the middle of June be a big one for Chipper against the Marlins? Because it was number 400 of his major league career. He was hitting .418 at the time, leading the National League in hitting after that 4-hit night.
Lee goes far to his right to get it and get Chipper Jones. And JJ does have a short pitch inning and a quick 1-2-3 fifth. And keep your edge spotlight. Jose Reyes, close and late. We told you about his great numbers in extra innings as well. 2012, 396 close and late. He's given the Marlins an edge late in ball games. You keep your edge with Just for Men mustache and beard. That man has neither a mustache nor a beard. He doesn't look old enough to have one. Chris Medlin looks like the kid next door. He's listed at 5'10". That might be generous. But he doesn't throw like the kid next door. He throws hard. As Tommy pointed out, he really knows how to pitch. He has a real feel for his craft.
He does throw like the kid next door that you didn't want to face. You know, there was always that one kid. You wanted him on your team, but if he was on the other team, you didn't want to face him.
Donovan Solano. And Medlin's breaking ball misses down low. Dodgers have taken an early 3-0 lead over the Nationals in the second game of that doubleheader. We told you the Nationals won the first game. 90 wins already for the Nationals, 90-57. 2-0. Houston and the Cardinals are underway. A lot of teams in the National League watching the Cardinals, hoping that they stumble. The Astros are 48 and 100 right now.
Is Kyle Loesch having the most under the radar year a pitcher could have? Nice knock by Donovan Solano. Kyle Loesch beat the Astros last night. He's 15-3 on the year. 15-3 with an ERA of 2.71. I don't think we've talked about him in any Cy Young conversations either.
He really has been terrific. And you know, I've never asked Kyle Loesch this. I have asked people around the Cardinals organization. They say that Dave Duncan had a profound effect on Loesch when he came over. I think he came over from the Phillies. He was a Twin for a while.
Loesch, the first pitcher to win a game here at Marlins Park, pitched another good game. He's pitched 2 really good games here in this ballpark.
Josh Johnson trying to push Solano into scoring position. Marlins just trying to get a run against Medlin.
First time in the ball game, the Marlins have gotten a leadoff man on base.
Medlin 3 strikeouts. Chipper is shortened up at third. J.J. Squares. We told you he has a dynamite move. A guy that was a shortstop and a pitcher in college, a very good athlete.
Now the bottom line, overall Atlanta, they're 4th in the league in ERA. But since the All-Star break, they have the 2nd best ERA in the major leagues.
Rays, I believe, are the first. And that's the only thing that's kept the Rays in that race.
And they're starting to waver late.
Rays and Red Sox 3-3 in the bottom of the 4th. Yankees won the first game of a doubleheader with a 4-2 win over Toronto, and the second game's tied 1-1 in the 5th.
You know, it's interesting. It always seems to play out this way. But when you look at the top ERAs in the National League, you have Washington going to postseason. You have Cincinnati going to postseason. You have the Dodgers, got a chance still. The Braves, the Giants going to postseason. The Cardinals and the Pirates. Those are the top teams in ERA in the National League.
Tico, the People's Gas, brings you the National League wild card. The Braves on top. Dodgers trailing the Cardinals. Josh Johnson fouls off all 3 of his bunt attempts. That would be a strikeout, the 4th for Medlin. Medlin getting straight with Martin Prado, and who's got the bag on a comebacker for a double play. Peterson. You don't often see, you hear about outfielders that become pitchers, catchers that become pitchers. You don't often see shortstops that become pitchers, but maybe the best of which, and that throw gets by Freeman. Solano is on his way around second. He's headed for third. He's going to get there. But Miami has a runner 90 feet away on a 2-base throwing error by Chris Medlin.
They have tried to pick away, and this is an opportunity. That throw very wild, gets away from Freeman, and there's so much room down the line. A long way for Hayward to come. Solano gets over to third. It's on that side of the runner, the backside. Freeman can't get his glove around Solano to try to make a catch.
You see the infield's back except for Chipper Jones. Peterson with the count 1-0. Maybe the most successful shortstop turned pitcher we've already had on a telecast tonight. He made a brief cameo appearance with a surfboard.
Oh, that's right.
Trevor Hoffman. Fly ball or a pop. Ugla going back, makes the catch. Solano tags, and Ugla's throw is up the line. But no way the Marlins could send Solano on that. Ugla has a strong throwing arm.
But the only time you're going to see a third base coach send a runner on a play like that would be you're in extra innings, nobody's been able to score, and you just take a chance.
Ugla did a decent job of squaring himself up as he made the catch too. It wasn't like he had his back to the infield. But frustrating for Miami. Remember, the Marlins had this man, Gorkys Hernandez, at third base with one out in the first, and Medlin struck out Jose Reyes, and they got Dobbs to bounce out and end the inning. Marlins had Rob Brantley at second base with one out in the second and couldn't score him. And now Solano's at third.
This could be a time, I don't know if he's thinking about it, but if you're Gorkys Hernandez, that with two out and a runner at third, if you thought about jumping down a bunt for a base hit.
See Chipper a step on the grass at third. Prado smooth at short, and again Medlin pitches out of trouble, and that's why the Braves have a 3-0 lead. Wednesday night showdown brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota. Freddie Freeman hits a mammoth fly ball to center field. Gorkys Hernandez waits and makes the catch. First out of the 6th inning in what has been a frustrating night for Josh Johnson and the Marlins. JJ's not been sharp. He's given up 3 runs on 5 hits. The Marlins have had some opportunities against Chris Medlin, but the Braves right-hander, who hasn't lost a start since 2009, has pitched out of every jam he's been in.
And that pitch, that first pitch of this inning, was pitch number 100.
Broken bat. Dan Ugla needs a new one. And off he goes to get one. Brian McCann will hit next. No one has budged yet in the Marlins bullpen, but I think you're right on that, Tom. He had 101 pitches. If If JJ finishes this inning over 110, this might be it. Breaking ball and no swing, says Vic Carapazza. Of course, the Marlins are right now working with a six-man rotation, and you've got an off day tomorrow. Ugla hits a ball in almost the same spot as Freeman. So 2 outs. Final Family Sunday is on September 30th. The Marlins and the Phillies will finish their series at 1:10. Kids get a Marlins ice cream helmet bowl courtesy of the 50-mile-per-gallon Toyota Prius and can run the bases after the game in the Diamond Dash. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com for tickets. Couple fly ball outs to start it. McCann is 0 for 2. The bottom of the order has hurt JJ. Constanza, who's on deck, has a couple hits. Even Medlin in the 9 spot has a single and a walk.
Seems like when JJ's missed with that fastball, and we talked about maybe not having the command of that pitch that he'd like, he's just missed off the plate. And he goes back to the breaking ball, which has been a good one for him, and that's probably why he's using it.
Breaking ball there, and JJ does work a quick 6th inning. 9-pitch inning. He may be around for 7. 3-0 Atlanta. Freddie Freeman, this is a sacrifice fly. Yes. The trick, Chipper Jones lost track of outs. The run scored. Chipper was out, and he said, my fault. Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. Chipper on his final game here in Miami is 1 for 3. Josh Johnson, 9-pitch inning. Jam Lexus, as always, resets the ball game here in the bottom of the 6th. Rob Brantley, now with the 9-game hit streak, he doubled. That's one of only 4 hits against Chris Medlin tonight. Chipper's hit was early. Marlins have had runners in scoring position on a few occasions, but as we told you, Chris Medlin has pitched out of trouble every time, and he gets to the bottom of the 6th. Medlin's pitch count very manageable.
He's in pretty good shape.
Just 67 pitches.
You would have to think, Rich, and I think we had a couple of emails and tweets asking the question for the 1-game playoff for the Braves. Which pitcher would they go with? A Chris Medlin or a Tim Hudson?
I think if you're able to line it up, I would think as good as Medlin has thrown, it's Medlin.
And it's the type of thing you can't line it up and say, well, Hudson would be a good choice because then it'd really be great to start that next series with Medlin because you might not get to that next series.
One of the wrinkles this year, and it's a wrinkle that may be ironed out in later years, is that the rosters for the one-game wild card are different than the rosters for the division series. So you don't have to set a roster for the division series and use it in the wild card, which means, first pitch to Carlos Lee, that as you go into that one game, you don't have to list all of your starting pitchers on the 25-man roster. So you can bring a couple extra bench guys. You don't have to bring all of your relievers if you want. You would think that a manager would want at least 2 starting pitchers. You'd want at least 2 starting pitchers. Because
you don't know if that guy
gets sick.
Yeah, something happens early.
Pulls a hamstring. You want some insurance there. But you can tailor your bullpen and tinker with pinch hitters to fill out the 25-man roster. Boy, one game, that's a scary proposition.
It sure is, in this game in particular.
Here's the 1-2. And it's outside. You know, Freddie Gonzalez had the perfect answer the other day when someone asked him about that, about having just one game and the danger of having your season end with just one game. And Freddie said, you know what, last year I would have loved to have had just one more game. Carlos Lee goes down. There are 2 outs.
That's why that extra wild card team, I don't think, can ever have a complaint. I mean, they should just be happy that there is an extra wild card and they're getting that opportunity.
And I think that the longer that this system is in place, the less griping you'll hear from the first wild card team that said, well, geez, in years past we would have been right in the division series.
Because I think as you see this play out, you'll see a little more closeness, and maybe the first wild card team won't have such a big stretch, big lead.
Dobbs 1 for 2. Oakland, for example, could finish with the second best record in the American League and yet have a one-game playoff to get into the division series. Medlin misses in, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, Oakland 3 games behind the Texas Rangers, who lead that Western Division, American League. But Oakland has the same record as the Yankees.
Dobbs takes away, and the Yankees could be in that same spot, although they won today in their first game. They're tied 1-1 in the top of the 6th against the Blue Jays in the second game. Dodgers lead is now 4-0 over the Nationals. That's in the 4th. 2-2 pitch from Medlin. Dobbs off the end of the bat. Prado gets around it, makes a nice running throw, and Medlin goes 1, 2, 3 through the fish. He's retired 6 in a row. this year, but in their careers. Active players. So there's no Jamie Moyer on this list. He's not active right now. But Tim Hudson at 14-4. Johan Santana, a 1.70 Ernie. Look at Ryan Dempster, the former Marlin. R.A. Dickey. And the Marlins may see him 2 more times this year.
Yeah, good chance they'll see him Sunday over the weekend, and then he'll probably pitch one of the games when the Mets come here to Miami. So, yeah, the Marlins will see him 2 more times. But you have a couple of Mets on that list, and Santana and Dickey. It's our look at Tom Kohler. What a great look we got the other night, and it was against the Atlanta Braves. Kohler came in and worked a couple of innings, had 5 strikeouts, gave up just 1 hit, and we saw him reach 96 on the radar gun.
He throws 94 there. Moments ago, there was an applause. It was Kiss Cam and Freddie Freeman, Dan Ugla, getting a little love from Chipper Jones. 0-2 to Jose Constanza.
The other pitch we saw Kohler use effectively, because he got 4 of the 5 strikeouts we're looking, was that nice breaking ball.
He hits that breaking ball out to second. Solano throws out a speedy Constanza. Interactive polls brought to you by All My Sons Moving and Storage. 789-789. Do you think Chipper Jones will be voted into baseball's Hall of Fame on the first ballot, M1 or M2?
M1. If Chipper Jones and Derek Jeter don't go in on the first ballot, then the guys who don't vote for him shouldn't vote.
One of the things about Chipper Jones in the Hall of Fame, oftentimes you look at numbers that are automatic qualifiers, 3,000 hits, one of them. You forget that Chipper missed an entire season at the very start of his career.
Yeah, he tore up his knee in spring training.
And so he would have been good for what, 150, 160 hits at least that season, meddling with a swing and a miss.
Yeah, he didn't play at all in '94. He had 8 games with the Braves in '93. And they were all set to have him in there on an everyday basis.
How many hits in '95?
139.
Yeah, so Toyota trend all time in South Florida. The Braves are under 500 in games that he's played against the Marlins. And of course, Chipper, a part of that long run of consecutive division titles. From 91 through 2005, the Braves won 14 consecutive division titles. And they got to 5 World Series, winning the '95 World Series against Cleveland.
Chipper Jones could tell a lot of people up in Washington that it ain't that easy when you make your plans.
One and two. Boy, Kohler heats up to 96 again, Tommy Hutton.
This is impressive.
Yes, it is.
Very impressive.
He strikes out Michael Bourne and goes 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th. Kendall and West Kendall Toyota showdown. Friday Night Live, the final one coming up on the 28th. Marlins and Phillies at 7:10. After the game, head to the West Plaza for a live concert presented by Heineken Light. Lock in your tickets for the final Friday Night Live today. 1-877 Marlins. Chris Medlin has lived up to all of his numbers, which is not easy to do when you come into a game 8-1 with a 1.62 ERA. But boy, in 6 innings, the Marlins really haven't had much of a sniff at home plate. Justin Ruggiano, Rob Brantley, and Donovan Solano. Ruggiano goes after the first pitch, pops it up. Freeman has room and makes the catch. Some amazing numbers when you talk about Chris Medlin, and look at the company that he's in right now. Win streaks by a team during his starts. Last guy to get to 20 was Clemens.
Got to go to Lefty Grove and Carl Hubble and Whitey Ford. Wow.
I mean, black and white type photos.
Yeah.
Who was the first team to put? Can we throw that back up there? I know it's a quick notice. There's the 0-1 to Brantley. Good changeup from Medlin. All right, you see Hubble in 36, Grove in 31. There's no logo on his cap.
I don't know if that was universal to all the teams. We'd have to see all the teams in 31.
So who's the first team to have a logo on their cap? Crack staff, go find that. There's a deep drive. Brantley, and Bourne runs it down.
Well, I tell you what, there have not been a lot of balls hit hard tonight. Rob Brantley has hit 3 of them. One on his double, one a screaming line drive to left field in the 4th inning, and he crushed that ball to center field. So 3 times Brantley has hit the ball right on the nose.
You know, the guy that Ozzie Guillen compares Brantley to is in the house. In fact, he's crouched behind home plate, and that's Brian McCann. That's what Ozzie said. A young Brian McCann is who Brantley reminds him of. And if that's the case, boy, the Marlins have got quite a player, because McCann has been dynamite for the Braves.
Well, he has to feel good about how he's learned, how he's called games. There are a number of pitchers who love throwing to him. And then also his progress with the bat, his patience.
Solano takes away, and it's 1-2. (1901) Detroit Tigers, we're being told. First. A running orange Tiger. Prado! Oh, wow! Martin Prado. Everywhere you put him, he's good. And from deep short, he elevates and releases his inner Jeter. Look at that. Into the 8th, the Honda 8th. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
All right, it's Jose Reyes bobblehead night. Some fans here. Your name, sir?
Tom Jeffers.
All right, Tom, what do you think of the resemblance? It's the third bobblehead, Reyes to Reyes.
It's pretty close. Pretty good.
I think they did a great job with Reyes. What do you guys think? We got Reyes earlier this year. There's a good look. You see Reyes and the bobblehead. I think that's very close, even down on the wristbands. Giancarlo Stanton, the square jaw, the white teeth. Very well done. And tonight's starter, Josh Johnson, earlier in the year, his bobblehead. Which one of did you see the other bobbleheads?
I did. I have both.
Which one do you think closely resembles it?
I like Stanton's the best.
You like Stanton's the best? All right. What do you like the best of the bobbleheads?
Josh Johnson.
Josh Johnson. All right, we got two. And over here, you saw some of the bobbleheads, sir. Yeah. Which one was your favorite? Did you like the Reyes, the JJ, or Josh Johnson?
Jose Reyes.
Reyes one best. What? Because you have the same kind of beard?
Kind of.
Okay. Actually, he's more JJ like. All right, guys. I thought they did a great job with all three. Take it away.
Martin Prado drives one left center field deep. Gorkys Hernandez runs it down and makes the catch. Prado, who made that terrific play, and the bottom of the 7th, leads off the 8th with a long fly ball out.
Tell you one thing, the Marlins are getting a good look at Tom Kohler, and here in this inning, A.J. Ramos. And you and I had a nice conversation with Ozzie the other day about his conversation that he had with Ramos about using that curveball. I think there was a time in the minor leagues where he wasn't using it. He was throwing mainly fastballs and sliders.
Yeah, Ozzie told him, hey, if anybody ever tells you to stop throwing that curve, tell them they're nuts, because that's a great pitch for you and it sets up everything else. Because if it's fastball slider and that's all you got, big league hitters will get on that stuff. The Detroit Tigers of 01 and 02, Tommy, the first team to have anything on the front of their cap. A running orange tiger was on the cap in 1903.
I think our director, Jim Hawley, has a replica of that cap.
In 1903, Spalding introduced the Philadelphia-style cap, which featured an innovative first. The stitched visor. By the end of the decade, nearly every baseball team had a stitched bill. Luciano makes the catch. This might be the last AB in Miami for Chipper Jones.
Number 10, third baseman Chipper Jones.
Nice moment here in Miami. And a thrill for A.J. Ramos out of Lubbock, Texas, who I'm sure saw a lot of Chipper Jones when he was just a youngster.
Oh, yeah. That's where you have to keep your focus now.
And there's that curveball for a strike.
And knowing Chipper and talking to him the way we have over the years, he's probably thinking to himself, all right, dummy, there are 2 outs.
Chipper got caught off first base earlier in the game on a fly ball to the left, and it appeared as if he had headed to second and lost track of the outs. Roller out towards second. And Solano throws to first. A.J. Ramos and Tom Kohler with back-to-back scoreless innings. Still 3-0 Atlanta. job, Chipper Jones. Last go round here in Miami, and in his honor, we put together our active Marlin killer list. Here's the bullpen. Ryan Madsen sitting this year out with Tommy John surgery. Tyler Clippard. Wouldn't be a Marlins Nationals game without Tyler Clippard. Peter Moylan, who we saw last night, terrific numbers against the Fish. K-Rod, look at his numbers, 4-0 and 0.71 ERA.
A couple of more years, we may have to put Chris Medlin on that list as far as starting pitchers. Working on a shutout as he goes here in the 8th inning.
And Medlin's only at 88 pitches. Impressive stuff from this 26-year-old. Santa Ana Junior College. And Austin Kearns takes a strike. Kearns hitting in the 9 spot. And you got Brian Peterson, Gorkys Hernandez. Miami without Giancarlo Stanton tonight. Hopeful that he's back on Friday in New York. Oh, 2 pitch coming.
By the way, Rich, the Marlins pitchers, you throw JJ in there along with Kohler and now Ramos, have retired 13 consecutive Braves.
Well, Medlin has retired 10 in a row. And he strikes out Austin Kearns. Home Depot doing more on defense. This is the Prado play. Watch this. That's nice.
And shortstop is probably the position that he's played least. You know, we usually see him in left field, or he'll fill in at third base for Chipper Jones.
Peterson an 0 for 3. He's got a lot of company, though. Medlin's given up just the 4 hits. Solano a single, Brantley a double, Dobbs a single, Hernandez an infield hit.
This is only Prado's 8th start at shortstop this year.
Michael Bourne can go get him, and he goes and gets that one.
Well, he may be slumping at the plate. He's had a really rough month of September.
And it's Peterson again, who hits a ball that off the bat you're thinking extra bases, and it ends up an 0 for.
Where Michael Bourne makes sure it doesn't affect him in the field. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Gorkys Hernandez now. So for the rest of the season for the Marlins, they're going to see R.A. Dickey a couple times, and Dickey certainly front and center in the National League Cy Young Award race.
You know, if you remember too, with Medlin, he didn't really get in a groove until about the 3rd or 4th inning. He's retired 11 in a row now. Marlins had a base hit and a walk in the 1st inning off Medlin.
Medlin is fun to watch because he just destroys the notion that you've got to be 6'5", 230, throwing that downhill plane.
Max effort. Throw as hard as you can for as long as you can.
Breaking ball, and it rolls out towards Ugla. Quick flip, and Chris Medlin is absolutely cruising right now. He's retired 12 straight, 3-0 Atlanta. Braves on top. She's obviously excited about the postseason, which is coming up. You can catch all the action of the 2012 Major League Baseball postseason on Fox and TBS. The excitement starts October 5th with the wild card on TBS.
Here's a great note with Dan Jennings coming in the game. Tom Kohler and A.J. Ramos in this series against the Braves have gone 5 innings between the two of them. They've given up just 1 hit, no walks, no runs, and 10 strikeouts.
Freddie Freeman goes after the first pitch. Peterson is there and he makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Here in the 9th inning, you got Ugla and McCann on a night where the Braves watching to see what happens above them. The Nationals 3-1 winners in the first game. The second game against the Dodgers, Los Angeles is running away with it. 6-0 in the 6th in Washington. Ugla pulls in 0 for 2. So the Braves open play 5.5 behind Washington, moved to 6 back when Washington won the first game. If the Dodgers win the second and this score holds, the Braves are back to 5 back. But running out of time, certainly. Atlanta will, if they win, reduce their magic number just to make the postseason by 1. Their magic number was at 7. And since the Dodgers lost that first game, the magic number is now 6 for the Braves to make the postseason. And it'll be down to 5 if they win this thing. Heck, by the time the Marlins get to Atlanta, the Braves may have already wrapped up the wild card game. They obviously still would be chasing Washington at that point, but Washington might be just too far for them to get to. They may have a week's worth of games knowing they're going to have everything come down to just 1 game.
And at that time, it'll be interesting to see, and we'll talk to Freddie Gonzalez about it, how he tries to maneuver his lineup or his rotation and who he plans on. He may not even know by then, but who he plans on pitching. And standing behind Freddie is Roger McDowell. I think a guy maybe that doesn't get enough credit for the job he does as the Braves pitching coach.
I think Freddie was knocking on wood there. Here's McCann now. Speaking of young pitchers and guys you should keep in mind for next year, how about Matt Harvey, who finished...
Young kid with the Mets.
Yeah, 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Are the Mets going to shut him down after this start? I think this was his
I read that.
Last start.
So the Marlins won't see Matt Harvey.
They'll just slide Dickey into that spot, and he'll make 4 more starts.
Give him another start, yeah.
Jennings 0-2 coming to McCann. Check swing, no swing on a pitch that didn't look like it missed by much. 1-2. Barreled up by McCann. He drives it into center field. Marlins Live brought to you by Checkers after the ball game. In fact, right now, is that Jeff Conine climbing the stairway to heaven?
He's been all over the place. Tonight he's been in the Fox Sports Florida suite, schmoozing shaking hands, kissing babies.
Yeah, he was. He was walking up the stairway on his way out to center field. Does Medlin come out and pitch the ninth, or you go to your bullpen if you're Freddie?
Well, Freddie has Jeff Baker in the on-deck circle.
There's 2 outs.
Reed Johnson pinch hitting here for Constanza.
One-0 pitch. When Reed Johnson changed teams, Tommy, he also changed his look. That was his Cubs look. They just doctored up the hat.
That was in honor of the Billy Goat, the Cubs look.
Here's the 1-1. And it's 2-1.
It looks like Freddie Gonzalez is going to his bullpen. And I would say under other circumstances, 99 pitches, he'd probably let Medlin go, but knowing what he wants to get out of Medlin down the road the next couple of weeks, he's getting him out of there. He has thrown a shutout this year. Medlin shut out the Padres back on August 16th.
Padres have been one of the best teams in the second half.
How about the year Chase Headley is having? If he were on a little better team, he'd be an MVP candidate. Tied with Ryan Braun for the league lead in RBIs with 104.
Johnson smashes that one into center field. It gets by Hernandez, goes all the way to the wall. McCann doesn't run well, and he's leaking oil and stops at third. There were a couple times behind the plate tonight that McCann flinched, and it looked like he aggravated the hamstring injury.
Which he says that's when it bothers him most, when he's catching. Most other guys score on this, but certainly he doesn't want to take any chances. You can see him grimacing a little bit as he coasts into third base.
Ozzie Guillen's making a pitching change with Jeff Baker scheduled. Here comes Chad Godin. Tonight, and the ninth inning, Atlanta's trying to add some insurance. Marlins go to their pen. Chad Godin takes over for Dan Jennings. Jennings giving up base hits to Brian McCann and Reed Johnson. Both balls hit extremely well.
And of course, Freddie counters with the left-handed bat of Lyle Overbay. He had Baker announced.
Warren Henry, drive of the game. Extra base hit for the Marlins.
Boy, that's a nice swing.
That's how slim the pickings have been offensively. Rob Brantley with a double.
But the information highway out there, Rich, tells us that Israel has taken a 2-0 lead to the bottom of the 8th inning.
I didn't know that Gabe Kapler and Sean Green were playing on the.
I thought they were
team.
just coaching. You mentioned that to me a couple of innings ago.
The article I read tonight was that they were playing.
They needed a little power, one from the right side, one from the left side.
And Brad Ausmus is.
He's not catching them.
He's managing.
Okay.
Overbay swings and misses. And it counts 1-1. Overbay pulls a ball foul. Well, if the postseason were to start today, it would be Braves and Cardinals in the one-game playoff to get to the division series. That winner would take on Washington, with Cincinnati opening against San Francisco. Drive to center. Gorkys Hernandez there, and he makes the catch. Miami down to the last 3 outs, trailing 3-0. Boy, you go from Medlin to another tough right-hander. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Kendall Toyota, West Kendall Toyota. Bring you tonight's Wednesday night showdown. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Checkers, feast on. And by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. The inspired performance tonight was from Chris Medlin. 8 scoreless innings, giving up just 4 hits. And he didn't give up a run. And when you go from Chris Medlin to Craig Kimbrell, you're talking about 2 dominant right-handers.
You know how sometimes I say it doesn't matter how that one pitcher's pitching. Sometimes it's just a benefit and a good sign to see the next guy come in. Doesn't matter. I think that theory doesn't apply right here, because you go from a guy who's just been outstanding Chris Medlin, by the way, with Reed Johnson staying in the game in left field. Medlin's about to go to 9-1. The Braves, if Kimbrel locks this one down, will have won his last 21 starts. It's incredible.
It is incredible, and it moves him up on that prestigious list that we showed, past Roger Clemens. Reyes lines it into left field. That's a base hit. Johnson to cut it off. And so Miami opens with a single. You got Carlos Lee, Greg Dobbs, and then Justin Ruggiano scheduled against Kimbrel. First, like cold hard fact in this one. Chipper Jones in his career has seen over 39,150 pitches strung together. That's over 449 miles.
That's pretty crazy.
Lee goes after the first pitch. Bourne is out there, and he makes the catch.
When that, unless something drastic happens, that could end the 11-game hitting streak that El Caballo was on. Knew he was going to get that first pitch fastball. He went after it. He just got under it a little bit.
And here comes Dobbs. So Medlin's 8 shutout innings, allowing just 4 hits. Sounds an awful lot like Nathan Eovaldi's night last night, which is almost dead on. Eovaldi 8 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Medlin 1 walk, 6 strikeouts.
Medlin takes his ERA to 1.51.
Yeah, well, that's inflated compared to Kimbrel's right now. Kimbrel's is 1.11. How about that?
All right, you want to play that game?
All right. What do you got?
Well, Medlin as a starter now in 10 starts will go to 8-0, and his ERA that was 0.86 is lower than that now as a starter.
Oh, okay. How about Kimbrel has struck out?
We sound like Billy and Johnny in the schoolyard.
Kimbrel has struck out. That hits Dobbs.
And all of a sudden you get the tying run to the plate.
There you go.
So maybe that theory does apply.
And it's Ruggiano who's coming up. We had that note on Kimbrel the other night. He had struck out more than half of the hitters he'd faced this year. But that one bounces right off of Dobbs' foot. So a single by Reyes. Dobbs hit by a pitch. That's sandwiched around the Lee fly ball out. You've got Ruggiano and then Brantley.
And in case you're wondering, Craig Kimbrel has allowed 3 home runs.
Ruggiano swings and fouls that 1-0 pitch back. Kimbrel 37 saves, first in the National League. 97 of his last 152 outs have been strikeouts. He's 1-1 on Ruggiano.
Speaking of long balls, home runs, Miguel Cabrera has hit another, number 41. Has 130 RBIs now. Tigers playing Oakland. They have a 5-0 lead.
So he's 1 shy of the American League lead. Josh Hamilton, 42 home runs. Reyes at second. Dobbs at first. 2-2. Fastball, Ruggiano fouls it off. Ozzie Guillen's Marlins trying to avoid loss number 84. Freddie Gonzalez and the Braves trying to put to bed win number 86. Kimbrel in relief of Medlin. Breaking ball, slow tapper to short. Prado gets an out at second base. There are 2 outs, and here comes Brantley, and he still represents the tying run.
Talk about all the strikeouts. Interesting, Kimbrel does not have a strikeout in this inning. At least 1 strikeout in 39 of his last 40 outings. So he probably doesn't have his best of stuff right here. The Marlins have a couple of base runners. And Rob Brantley's hit the ball as well as anybody tonight.
He's 1 for 3, a double, and 2 deep fly ball outs. Kimbrel misses in. '57th appearance for Kimbrel. 57th inning worked for Kimbrel. And Brantley gets tied up and counts 1-1. And that by design is a lighter load than last year, where he appeared in 79 games and worked 77 innings.
And it was a few cracks in Kimbrel's armor last September that kind of started the ball rolling in the wrong direction for the Braves.
Brantley checks his swing, no swing. Ruggiano takes second, no stolen base. Counts 2-1. That's close. Two and one. Kimbrel at the ready. And he's on 3-1. And I agree with you. He doesn't look as dominant as we've seen him this year. But even on nights where he's not dominant, he's very, very good. The 3-1 at the knees and on the black at 96. Billy Hatcher trying to get his outfield attention. Brantley pulls a ground ball. Uggla gets a big hop, flips to first, and the Braves have shut out the Marlins. Chris Medlin for 8 innings, Craig Kimbrel for the 9th. Atlanta takes the series 2-1. The Braves are now 86 and 64. So long, Chipper Jones. His last game in Miami. The Marlins will see Chipper and the Braves next week in Atlanta. Just dominant stuff from Medlin tonight. Kimbrel wasn't his sharpest, but he gets the save. And the Wednesday night showdown presented by Kendall and West Kendall Toyota. There's the final box. 3 runs, 7 hits for Atlanta. Marlins without a run. They are shut out. Just 5 hits. Chipper Jones goes 1 for 4. Rob Brantley did extend his hit streak to 9 games. It took 2 hours and 34 minutes to play. 25,998 were here to watch us. Marlins Live presented by Checkers follows as the Braves beat the Fish tonight 3-0.